for staying here with us and share your time in this panel. I'm glad to see that the SportsTech is here to stay. It's my first time South Summit. I think that for you it's the first time
yeah.
too. But I think it's important to see that the SportsTech is evolving and in this kind of events is present. Today we will talk about Vision to Victory, SportsTech in leadership, and how we can approach the innovation from totally different perspectives. We have 3 different sports properties. During the briefing, we saw that the approach to the innovations can be very differently unless the objectives mostly are similar at the end of the day. And before we start, I will ask you to introduce yourself and the property that you are representing here today, because it's not the traditional sports business forum. So I think it's important to know what is LGP, what is DFL Bundesliga, what is Liga Portugal. So Charlie, we start with you, please.
Yeah, I'll go first. So Charlie Dewhurst, Commercial Director at SailGP. So principally really responsible for building partnerships and ultimately kind of fueling revenues for our business. If you've not seen or heard of SailGP, I think my first comment would be look it up on YouTube or Instagram, because like words don't do it justice, and you kind of got to see it to believe it. But really what we are is we're a global annual racing championship, the most exciting racing on water. It's 10 national teams, including a team from Spain. We're racing in 12 iconic destinations around the world, in New York, in the UAE, in Cadiz, in Saint-Tropez. And in essence, to kind of like boil it down, it's kind of like Formula One on water. We're built on kind of 3 main pillars: entertainment first and foremost, so kind of fast-paced, 100 kilometers an hour, close to shore, stadium racing, captivating a whole new audience into the sport. We're fully sustainable and very much kind of see ourselves being powered by nature and having a responsible to drive change in the industry. And to play our role in kind of helping mitigate against climate change. And then the third part, which I guess is relevant here, is kind of very much built on tech and innovation. We're a business that was founded by Larry Ellison, I guess one of the most successful entrepreneurs of his generation. And from that, kind of tech and innovation is very much woven into our DNA, whether that's the billion data requests that come off our boats every race, or the fact that we're manufacturing these amazing machines that fly across the water. We're just about to start season 4 in Chicago next week, so make sure you tune in. I think it's on TV in Spain, and we're really excited about the future.
You can recommend to go to Cadiz too.
Exactly. Cadiz in the middle of October. It's going to be a great event, and yeah, hopefully see a few people down there.
You see, the responsibility of Charlie is to sell partnerships based on the innovation of the competitions, but we have Lucas Glockner, that is Head of Technology and Innovation at DFL. So you generate the innovation to sell products and maybe sponsors for the competition. Lucas, please introduce yourself.
Yes, thanks for the invitation and the introduction. I like the Formula One on water, so maybe I'll try a similar one. DFL is basically La Liga in German, so I think that explains it quite well. We're the professional football organization, so we represent 36 top division clubs in Germany and their interests. Myself, I'm a head of technology and innovation, so I've been working on all kinds of projects, overseeing our innovation projects and the implementation of technology into our competition, especially on a sports side of things. Yeah, and I think that explains quite well what Bundesliga is, and maybe leading to the topic here of why do we innovate. I think it's important to understand that in Bundesliga is very traditionally rooted in Germany, so we have a huge national spectatorship and sell out more than half of the games. I think we have a more than 90% utilization of the stadiums, which was one of the reasons why we realized at some point that we need to think about innovative ways of increasing value and bringing the game to more and more people, because in the end there's a limit to how many people can be in the stadium.
And we have Pedro Teles, Sponsorship Director of Liga Portugal. How can you tell us about you and about Liga Portugal?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mark. I will use Lucas' words. We are La Liga in Portugal, so I'm responsible for the sponsorship department. We at Liga Portugal, we organize all the professional football in Portugal. We have 3 competitions. We have our first and second division, and then our League Cup. But beside that, we are trying to have a more transversal impact on society and on the industry itself. So nowadays we have like new projects coming in. We have a foundation to address all the social responsibility matters. We have esports competitions. We have an international summit that we organize, Thinking Football Summit. We have a business school for people that want to be professional in the football area. So this is the path that we want to continue to take, to keep innovating, keep bringing new projects to the league, because I think we have the obligation to do a lot more to the industry than just organizing football matches. So that is our main goal. And like using UEFA example, maybe UEFA don't have the best image among fans, but they separate quite well the political side of UEFA and the spotlight of its competitions like Champions League. They are passionately followed by millions of fans. So that is our goal, to give the spotlight to our clubs, players, and projects, and the league with the political side. That is also important.
As I told you during the briefings, we saw different approaches to the innovation. And Lucas, I want to start with you, but it's fair to say that Bundesliga is not new in the bet on the innovation side. It's, I think, maybe a decade ago that you started to invest in companies to create your own solutions for the clubs. How do you approach to the innovation in DFL, and what are the main goals of the DFL when evolve in this side?
Yeah, that's a good question, and one I could easily take the next 22 minutes probably to answer on. So we probably need to focus on a few aspects. I think it was always the idea that we wanted to be known as leaders in innovation, I think today this is the case because of multiple different projects and initiatives. We are always trying to follow the newest trends. So we've just recently been doing a fully cloud-based TV production for the first time on a live match. We're hosting a Sports Innovation Summit every 2 years. So there's a whole bunch of initiatives. But to really understand how we made this shift in our minds, thinking about ourselves, I think you said earlier you want to be more than a competition organizer. That's what the DFL is traditionally seen as, a competition organizer. You market and organize the competition. But about 20 years ago, we started looking at the production value chain of what we actually have as a product, and we realized, well, we probably are much more of a media company than a competition organizer. And in 2006, we founded Sportcast as our first subsidiary, who has ever since produced all of the TV signals of all the Bundesliga matches. And we started realizing we much better understand how our media partners and our clients and all of our partners, and in the end our customers in front of the TV, think and act. And so we followed that route over the years and founded 3 more companies as subsidiaries. So that was Bundesliga International in 2008. They basically sell the international TV rights. Then that was followed in 2012 by DFL Digital Sports. So today, hopefully many of you are watching Bundesliga on the TV, wherever you are. If you see the product, it's produced, and the graphic and the commentary, all of this is being done by our subsidiaries. So we have a great control over the quality, and we can also influence on, what kind of storytelling do we want to implement. For example, AWS match facts, expected goals, those are KPIs we developed over the years, and we are able to transport to our clients. And then most recent addition to the family was in 2018, Sport Tech Solutions. I think I'll touch on that later on again. So this is basically for now our data, let's say, sports data collection, positional data, event data, and distribution of that data. And by this, we now do have, like we call it glass-to-glass strategy. So from the glass, the lens of the camera, to the glass, the screen of the TV spectator, we control and own that value chain, and we get to innovate within that value chain. So we really innovate along that chain within the different departments, because we understand our customers and we have the know-how internally to adapt to the needs of our customers.
Charlie, I don't know if we can define SailGP as a startup, as a challenger of the status quo in the boat racing, but I think that we can say that the innovation in terms of boats, competition, and property has been in the DNA of the SailGP. What is your growth trajectory, long-term vision, and how is this helping to build your commercial business? When we talk about innovation, this week you announced the upgrade of Mubadala as a sponsor of the SailGP, but I don't know how it helps you to sell the product.
Yeah. I mean, I think in a lot of ways we are a startup like many organizations here this week. You know, we were founded in 2019, so we're still incredibly young in our journey. We've just finished season 3 going into season 4. But we're a startup that has, I think, kind of big, bold visions. We want to set up something that's going to last for the next 50, 100 years, and almost kind of like help shape the future of our industry in a number of ways, which I'll come on to. So I guess our vision is to do 3 things. We want to lead. We want to essentially become synonymous with sailing. So you say sailing, you think SailGP, and very much be kind of considered at the top tier of sports rights holders alongside kind of my fellow panelists here. And you know, it's hard to break in. Not many sports can do that, and we've got that aspiration. We want to engage a whole new fan base that's never really engaged with sailing before, and kind of create a huge audience and following. But we want to deliver impact as well, which I'll come on to a bit later in terms of like setting the standard for sustainability. And I guess, how do we actually do that? Like, at the moment, I'd say we're very product focused. You know, we're really investing in developing our product, whether that's the on-water racing, the broadcast product that we develop and distribute to over 200 territories around the world, and kind of tech and innovation, I guess, is weaved in all of that in terms of, you know, actually how do you make sailing immediately understandable and connect to a broader audience that are not sailing fans, but they're racing fans, or they're people that just like tech, innovation, speed. And I guess there's probably 2 things there. I think one is it's short racing. You know, we say yes, the benefit of being an organization founded in 2019 is we were one of the few sports organizations founded in the digital age. So kind of our product is designed for modern consumption habits. It's designed to be watched on a phone. It's designed to be snackable in a way that I guess, like, you know, partners over here are kind of having to find ways to adapt to a traditional sport and kind of take that into the 21st century. So kind of very focused on that, and through a technology that we developed ourselves called Liveline, and able to kind of project almost on the broadcast graphics and create kind of a field of play, almost like a football pitch or a racing track. And I guess the key thing there is, like, it's short racing, so it's entertaining, but it's produced in a way that makes it really understandable. And the good thing is we're now starting to see a huge amount of growth in terms of that audience, people coming from MotoGP or Formula One or other racing properties, because it's just fun, it's just exciting racing, and that's fueling our growth. We did kind of 3x broadcast growth between season 2 and season 3. We've increased social media following by 50%. I definitely say at the moment we're one of the fastest growing sports platforms out there, because we've got this kind of like such new product and a really untapped market that sailing's never really been able to engage before. And I guess then from a commercial perspective, what does that mean? I guess growth for us is our big driver. You know, growth is driving a lot of commercial discussions. And what we're trying to do, like any startup business almost, is kind of get that positive feedback going, you know, where you have investment into product, into audience, that then kind of into growth, that then kind of drives more investment, new partners coming on board who kind of share that philosophy, and then that's where you start to set up something that becomes sustainable, that's never happened in sailing, and that's really what we're trying to do.
I'm happy
maybe just quickly adding on this, I think it's a great example of why a sport like ours has to be open and ready to innovate, right? Because what you're saying is founded in 2019 is a great success story. So there's something you're offering to customers that catches them, and this is exactly the kind of trend that we want to see, understand, and then within our value chain want to be able to act accordingly and adapt in whichever way we can, by bringing on technology, by whichever way we can imagine to make our game that I think our competition is turning 60 this year, so they're quite a bit older, to make that attractive to a whole new generation.
Charlie, you were talking about investing in the product, but based on the audience and what the new consumption, And I want to ask to Pedro because we always or sometimes make the mistake that to believe that innovation is just hardware or software, but sometimes it's just a product. You launched the Allianz Cup. I don't know if it's the evolution of the tournament or the creation of the tournament. It was based on the interest of the clubs, of the audience, of the sponsors, of the TV. How it was this project?
Yeah, Allianz Cup is where we try to position ourselves in the entertainment industry. I think we need to focus a lot more and learn that sports and football, we are competing on the entertainment industry. Right now, our competitors are not only other sports. We are competing with Netflix, with music festivals. So on a weekend of fun, have so much to choose. You can watch a football match, you can watch Netflix, you can go to a music concert, you can go to a football match on the venue. So we use Allianz Cup to try to give the fans more than just the 90 minutes of the game. We try to give them a whole different experience than they are used to have on a football match. And we need to take some learnings with some other sports and the American style of doing sports. Like F1 and NBA. You don't need to love basketball to enjoy an NBA match. It's such a great experience, and you don't even need to understand the game itself. So with Allianz Cup, we try to give the fans more to take home than only the match. We have music concerts, we have DJs, we have comedy shows with the best Portuguese comedians. We have a digital stand just for the biggest YouTubers in Portugal in order for they to create content and give them to other audiences. Because I think in football, I don't know if Lucas agrees, but we rely a little bit too much on the fans' passion for their own clubs. And I think they will always be there because they will follow their club no matter what. We don't need any innovations to keep engaged with that kind of fun. But we need to find tools to engage with the new generations, with new audiences, and I think that that is the goal for the future in terms of fun engagement. And we use Allianz Cup as a tool in Portugal, and I think we are one of the best cases where sports can also offer an entertainment experience to all the people that are there. So that's the main goal of Allianz Cup. Answering to your question, we are center the competition on the fan because we have the first and second division very focused on the clubs and on the professional side, and we use our League Cup to focus on the fans and give them an interesting experience, and also for the brands. My area is sponsorship, so the brands value a lot that we offer more than just the game, because I think that the brands are no looking just for static logos on the pitch. I think that was sponsorship like 20 years ago. Sponsorship right now is creating content, is finding ways to engage with the fans with quality and not with quantity. So I think that Allianz Cup, and I invite you all to come here to Allianz Cup next year, because it's really an amazing event in terms of entertainment and not only on sports-wise.
Lucas, Charlie was talking about how easier or an advantage is to control all the product because CellGP controls, or it's more similar than the American sport in terms of stakeholders.
Yeah.
Football is not that. You need to establish agreements between all the clubs, or a vast majority of the clubs. How it works in the case of Sportec in Bundesliga, and what can you tell us about the investment of Del Tatre in the company, and how this is adding value to you to go to the market, not just selling the products to the clubs of La Bundesliga far away?
Well, I'll start with the question on, obviously from a structural point of view, this is more the American model. We've got the traditional club model that is spread out through all of Europe, which I think has great benefits as well. So obviously the clubs, as our shareholders, we are there. In the end, we are their service provider and try to work towards their needs. In terms of Sportec Solutions, I think this is also for the audience here. There's an interesting example of innovating our business idea in there as well. So two stories around that, I would say. The first one is a very data-driven company. So the main task is collecting data, and the original idea was to collect this data to enhance the media product, right? You could see on the media product expected goals, all kind of metrics. Then we realized, well, we're collecting, I think right now per match about 4 million data points on every match, from players, from the ball, everything. And we realized that this information is very, very valuable for the clubs to actually improve their sports performance. So the company developed more into a direction where we deliver insights into the game to the clubs, allowing them to prepare on a weekly basis. So I think this is a great service for the clubs there. And then the second one, and I think this is the one that goes towards investment, we did sell the majority of Sportech Solutions to a strategic investor, mainly because we saw, well, the market for this kind of services, tracking data, all of the services is consolidating quite highly. So there's only a few big players left, which to us as a competition organizer could be a risk. But then through Sportech Solution is a chance of actually positioning an additional full service provider on the market. And I think it's quite a big success story, because just most recently Sportech Solutions has signed a long-term contract with the MLS for actually the services that we in Germany develop and conceptualize. And now Sportech Solution can go and, with the help of Delta Tre and their international network, and market this kind of service outside of Germany.
Charlie, in the case of CellGP, all the innovation that you develop, specifically in the part of the sustainability, because there is in the boat racing, it's a lot of questions about how the environment, how we can take care of the seas with the competition. How you are working on that, and what is the impact of sustainability in the project of the CellGP?
Well, if tech and innovation is in our DNA, then I'd say sustainability is who we are. It's kind of what drives us, and ultimately our ambition is to be the world's most sustainable and purpose-driven global sports and entertainment platform out there, to set a new standard for the industry in terms of how you can operate, and almost see CellGP as a bit of an innovation lab for the sports and entertainment industry in terms of developing new technologies, whether that's sustainable practices, clean energy on site, those kind of things, because the CellGP environment, as you said, is quite constrained and controlled. So but we want to prove, you know, if you can do it in CellGP, you can do it in the football environment, you can do it for the Olympics, and almost like drive a bit of a revolution in the industry around sustainability. And I think like part of this comes from kind of us being sailing and our product being powered by the wind. And it's an amazing showcase. These boats going 100 kilometers an hour, 4 times the speed of the wind. It's an amazing showcase of the power of clean energy and wind energy in particular. But I think it goes a lot deeper than that in terms of actually kind of living and breathing that and driving change for ourselves. Our purpose is kind of boiled down into 2 areas. One is about creating a better sport and using our platform to essentially drive inclusivity and diversity in sailing. And we're really focused on gender equity at the moment, and having teams of men and women racing together, representing their national team, which kind of on the same boat at the same time, which is quite a unique opportunity in sport, where kind of it's mostly kind of, men playing football, women playing football, and we have the opportunity to do it together. And then we're also looking at a better planet strategy, which is all about how do we use the CellGP platform to play our role in advancing a transition to clean energy, not just as a visible showcase, as I was talking about, but in terms of how the industry operates. And we have these really ambitious plans around having all of our events powered by clean energy by 2025, which is not that long away. And one of the great innovations that we've implemented is something called the Impact League, which is where you've got the teams racing for the championship on the water, and that really matters, but all of the teams are also racing for the planet on land and on water, and they're scored at every event for their sustainability practices and innovations and initiatives. And there's a leaderboard at every event, and the Danish team were the last winners of it. It's almost as competitive, I would say, as the on-water championship, and what that's done is essentially kind of drive improved standards, so the teams really care about sustainability and making a positive impact. And then kind of rounding that off, well, what is the impact there? I think one is it helps us actually deliver positive change in the industry. I think the second is it's getting us noticed, you know, whether that's in the industry or for commercial partners, or even for fans who are starting to really, really value the fact that we've got a product that is sustainable and they can feel good about watching. And a lot of our commercial deals that we're doing now are very much kind of rooted in purpose and sustainability. Sebastian Vettel came on board last week as one of the owners of the new German team because it gives him a platform to do what he's really passionate about in sustainability. And you mentioned a number of commercial deals that we've done where it's kind of at the core of why that deal's done. And that really, for us, two benefits in terms of, delivering that impact, but also having a bit of a competitive advantage as well.
From outside, it's pretty obvious that when you don't play with relegation, it's easier to think in the mid and long term. Football, I think that short term always win the game. But Pedro, in the case of Liga Portugal, because we have been talking and discussing about product, about the fan experience, but how can you push the innovation in the clubs and to think in the long term of the project? The last year you launched Thinking Football Summit. I think I was there to push the clubs to try to think outside the box. How is this working, and how can you tell us about, I don't know if the mindset of the clubs has changed since the last year with all the conference that you did?
Yeah, I think so. But that's the contribution that we want to give to the industry by creating Thinking Football Summit. Is a place where we can discuss the actual challenges of the sports and the future solutions. So we may not have right now the resources to invest ourselves in innovation for the clubs or technology for the clubs. We hope we will get there someday. But right now we use Thinking Football to put together the companies that have the innovations, the startups that have the new technologies in sports, with the buyers, with the deciders, and we try to have a role on creating this networking inside the event where clubs and buyers can get in touch with the new startups and the new technologies and the innovations in sports. So that's our main role right now with Thinking Football Summit. We think that a lot of business and deals are made in this kind of events, and we want to create the conditions for the deals to be done at our event. I was talking to Lucas yesterday night, and in an event like this, I met some guys that had the first intelligent football ball, and we right away saw the potential because it gives media, broadcaster, fans a lot of metrics that they are not used to have. So they told us at the time that they were using the ball in training by Bundesliga teams, but they will never have an official football match with the ball. So our relegation playoffs last season were the first official football match with an intelligent ball. And the truth is that a few months later, the same technology was used in the World Cup. So this is the kind of possibilities that we want to bring with Thinking Football Summit, to make these great ideas, to be in touch with the buyers and the deciders. And also, as you mentioned, to try to educate the stakeholders of football to invest in these kind of solutions and not only invest in the present and in buying players. And I think this kind of investment is more important to the future of the clubs than buying a player to play in the current season.
We have like 30 seconds, so let me ask you one last question. 2022 was a year of NFT, tokens, metaverse, and now we have Vision Pro. I don't know what else, but what do you think that it will be the real innovation in the sports industry that can be a game changer in the way that we consume sports?
Oh, I've definite answer on that one from my side is visualization of data. So the way you consume sports, you could consume already today based on data and live recreation of characters based on that data. You can already today watch a football match live and watch the same match with animated Marvel characters playing each other right next to that. And that, for me, is a huge game changer in the future.
Charlie, what do you think?
Well, we're hoping it's a lot about sustainability and kind of like, I guess, everything, all of the challenges around climate change and what we've seen in Italy with the flooding and kind of what we're going to see with temperatures over the summer drives that kind of acceleration in terms of actually brands starting to really invest in this rather than just sort of talk about it in a kind of a nice sense. So that definitely being one. And then I guess the big question mark for everyone is the impact that AI is going to have on the industry and kind of how that's going to shape both kind of how we do business, but also kind of what the product looks like as well.
Pedro, to finish.
Yeah, I will reinforce the fan engagement issue because I think it will be an issue in the future for football. We have the example of Kings League. They are doing a great job on engaging with these new generations. I would say that maybe some of the people that are watching Kings League, they don't watch professional football, and I think we need to take that into consideration. So I think in the future we will, as Liga Portugal, look a lot into innovations on fan engagement and tools to keep these new generations engaged with the football. And I think it's pretty much aligned with what Lucas said as well. They need more content on second screen, gamification, Web 3.0. So I think that's our main goal for the future.
But I hope it just won't be another social media platform. I can tolerate more apps of the properties, but no more social media platforms. Thank you, Charlie, Lucas, Pedro. Thank you very much, all of you. Thank you. Thank you.